thought it would be worth doing a really quick video of yesterday because I'm, in hindsight, just frustrated. I'm ashamed of myself for doing what I did. So as you can see, I did a couple overnight trades and actually lost a little bit last night. So I'm starting the balance at 446. Just make a mental note of that. All right, this is the 15-minute chart. It looks like we're ready for a drop. Okay, I'm getting into a short here. And this is the ES that I've allowed myself to trade because I'm close to the $500 buffer. So it's just much easier to get out of the hole if I'm trading the ES instead of the MES. So that's kind of my cutoff time or cutoff amount there, right? So this looks like a really good setup. It was a good trade. I haven't actually executed it yet. I'm still in the 5-minute chart. So here I'm in the 1-minute chart and kind of looking at this. I think it's going to bounce up and I want to make sure that I get into a good spot, but I don't think that's going to happen quite yet. Let's see what happens here. It might even get up to here. It might peter out. We'll have to just see. All right, at this point it went up and then it started to level off and I got into a short, no, I got into a long. Okay, I switched gears. I got into a long and I think it's going to go up. All right, it's just sitting there, not really going anywhere. So I maybe should have, I don't know, the 1-minute chart. Let me go back one more time to that 5-minute chart. Okay, so it's going down, the MACD is going down, we're losing momentum. Ah, yes, that's right, it's coming back to me. So I was pretty certain that we were going to have a huge drop for the day. But currently at 8:47 this morning, it looked like we might have a leg up first. That's what was going on. So I got into a long hoping for that leg up to appear, and it just sat here for a long time, and then it started to go up very nicely, and it had enough profit here, 137, that I locked that in. I'm actually locked in $100, and then it went all the way up to my stop. So that was a fabulous trade right off the bat. Made 700. I got it up to 753. That was amazing. It was a really good trade, and that probably went right to my head in hindsight. Probably got me very excited, and maybe I could see the end in sight. I could see good things happening today, and me getting out of this hole that I've been in all month. Excuse me. So, all right, next trade. Oh yeah, this is my overnight trading, and you can see, actually, there's been a lot of back and forth. Nothing over 150 loss, and now all of a sudden, I've got a $300 profit. So it's twice the amount of what I've been doing. So that was pretty nice. That was fabulous. All right, and I have a daily loss limit set of $200 and $850. And I think maybe this is the one that got me into trouble because that was kind of my goal, which is really stupid because that's way too much for what I've got going on here. Anyhow, all right, so it looks like it's leveled off at this point, and it is 9:10, so it's quite a bit later. All things, and as a trader, as a scalper goes, this is quite a bit later trade. All right, and we're looking at a possible sell here, and this looks like a good setup. Not asking too much movement, and it's in a reasonable, conservative spot. The stop is tight, but if it is truly dropping, then I'd say it's okay. But yeah, it's pretty tight. That's the only thing I can see here. It might want to be above these points right here, which isn't very much more, like $150 loss. All right, I'm in, and it went up and stopped me out. So then I lost like half of the profit on that last one, and that was a low blow because I was so excited. All right, and I still hadn't really changed my mind. As you can see, it went up to this level, And it did break through it earlier, around, oh gosh, it was only like 8:15 that it broke through it right up there. But I'm seeing like a general downward trend, though I have to say this RSI here is higher, and that is a little bit concerning. So I still think it's going to be dropping, but there are definitely signs to show otherwise, like the 180 SMA on the 1 minute chart here, which isn't super strong. I put in the volume profile, and you can see the POC, point of control, is right here. And I also threw in the Fibonacci line, which went up to that peak up there, that wick right at closing bell the night before. No, that's not true. That was at 7:30 this morning. For some reason, it just shot right up there. Big, big, big movement. And then it dropped down again. And that's interesting. I don't know that I really comprehended that yesterday when I was trading, but the excitement that would make that candle go up so far is probably playing out in keeping this from dropping yet. And that makes you want to beware. But anyway, I still think it's dropping. I got into a short here, and I've got a really tight stop here. But since it went up further, I'm in a better place as well. So, and the Fibonacci line I thought was really interesting. It's definitely interacting with that. The POC is right on this Fibonacci line, and at any rate, this seems to be kind of a shelf, the first Fibonacci line here, which is where I put my exit order, my stop, my limit. All right, let's see what happens here. So I'm in, and it went up, and it stopped me out again. I'm like, huh. It hasn't turned around yet. Very interesting. All right, but no, it's looking like it's going to turn around finally. So, at this point, I've lost almost all of that profit of that first one, which is really sad. So I've got an order placed here to do another short, and I missed it. Didn't I? No, I didn't miss it. So I actually got in, and then it dropped. And then I got back up to that amount again, or very, very close to it. So I was like, okay, yes, awesome, very good. That is awesome. Okay, so now I'm sitting here. I backed out to the 15-minute chart, and I'm trying to catch my breath. And I don't want that to happen again. I don't want to jeopardize this dollar amount here. And so I'm trying to be really cautious. So let's go back to that 15-minute chart again and look at it. Okay, so the MACD is really high. Looks like it's dropping. We are kind of stuck on the SMA through here, both of them actually. And it would have to break through that in order to drop. The RSI is actually gaining momentum until this last bit here, which matches up with the candle movement, so that's expected. We do have a 1 hour SMA up here, which I think I was thinking at one point would be a resistance level for sure. And we have been uptrending for yesterday and overnight, which also I don't want to downplay. So there's actually a fair amount of upward push as well as downward push and evidence for both of those. So that's a little bit concerning. However, I kind of remember thinking that it was still probably going to be dropping. And I think the reason was the 1 hour chart. It was a big chart. I'll see if I can figure that out. Okay, let me go back one more time. So it's starting to drop here, and it went down all the way to here, and then it started to look like it was going to turn and go up. And at this point, I had decided, yeah, there's a lot of bulls out there, and I can see that. And even though I think long term it's going to be dropping, I think I can play it both ways here. I think there's enough momentum to push it up. So got into a long here, and I'm thinking it's going to ride up to that point. Okay, here's the Fibonacci line for the last little movement here. and it's so busy. I don't know that this is really that helpful. So I got rid of it again, and you can see the wick knocked me out. So I lost again. So it's like, oh man, I'm just having trouble guessing this morning as to which direction it's going, even though, or where to put my stops, I guess, because I'm kind of guessing the direction correctly. It's just I keep getting stopped out. So that's a little frustrating. And then it started to drop big time. Okay, and also the last trade that I made here, it was $9.29. So I kind of knew that this was a pretty high risk trade, but I really thought it was looking like it was going to go up. So I thought it was worth it. But I guessed wrong, and at 9:30, it started this huge push downwards, this drop. So it was kind of back to my original thought. I was like, yeah, I think we're dropping here. So 9:33, it had gone all the way down here, and then it started to go way, way, way up, and now it's sitting at this point. So now this is actually a decent place to get into a short, except that I was scared at this point because it's moving so fast, and that was like whiplash there. All right, so when you have a situation like that, just try to get some perspective and try to figure out where it's going. And when I went out to the 15-minute chart, yeah, it went way down there, but it looks like it's going to be going up. And I'll bet you anything it's going to go up to this 1 hour SMA, which is also matching with these peaks right here. So I'm not sure shorting is the best idea right now. I don't know. Okay, so I did actually, as soon as I saw this little bit here, I thought, okay, it's moving so fast, it'll at least get down to this point, even though it's going up. So I actually grabbed a short and didn't have time to grab a screenshot. And you can see that now I have surpassed the highest high that I've had so far. And this really went to my head. So now I'm at $857. I've doubled my buffer at this point, which I should have just stopped right here. Hang with me though, because it got more exciting even. All right, and then I did another trade and lost that again. So now I'm back down to the 560. Got a $300 loss. So it's like gain one, lose one, gain one, lose one. Oof. And it's still moving really fast. It is 9:40 now. Okay, and look at that. It went way up to that SMA, and that was now the resistance level. And I lost another trade trying to trade that, and it stopped me out automatically. I hit my drawdown level, and oh gosh, I'm thinking, okay, what did I just get greedy here? Because I kind of think I did. All right, made another trade, got it back up to 519. I'm just clawing my way up. I'm just trying very, very hard to keep up that balance, trying to see what it's doing. And it does look like it's probably dropping at this point, but then, you have a situation like that where it just bounces right back up again. So now we're at a peak, we're sitting at a resistance level, and I thought, well, I think it's worth it. This is going to be a short that I'm going to do, and I have a really tight stop here. I think it's worth it. I gotta get back up to that $800 amount is what my thought is. Just one good trade. All right, so I'm in a short, and I got stopped out again. Oh, devastating. Now I'm down to below where I started. This is no good. Oh, and by the way, yeah, it stopped me out manually, but I went back and changed the settings. It used to be that I would get locked out of my account and I couldn't change the settings. But somehow that doesn't seem to be the case. And perhaps I should put that back on again. I don't know. But I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about that because oftentimes I'll come back. I'll just take a little break from it when I get locked out, and then I take a break and I recover, and then I'm able to actually make money in my account then when I come back. So that's not all bad. All right, so what's going on here? Okay, it looks like it's dropping, and I had gotten in up here, and it's already starting to drop. I think it's going to get all the way down to this point, but I've already made $262. So that is a good trade, and I believe I lowered my stop, or I don't know, somehow I got out of that trade Yeah, I lowered my stop and locked in that profit and then got stopped at 560. So here I am at that 560 amount again. So at least that's like about $100 above where I started. And then I missed this move here. This was, okay, between 9:55 and 10:21. It continued to drop. And I had just taken a break at that point. I'm like, I kind of just walked away from it. And then when I came back, it looked very much like it was recovering. This looks like a really good place to get in. So I got into a long, and this is much better. This is according to my rules, more where I trade, after it slows down. This is a little bit later maybe than I would normally start again. But it's been pretty volatile this morning, so waiting till 10:21 is actually not a bad thing. All right, so I got into a long, and here we go. We are heading up. And I've locked in that profit very tight and got stopped out, I believe. No, I think it continued to go up. No, it did not. It stopped me out, so I'm back up to the 754, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. But this is such a good movement. This is the one trade where I wanted to see what I was thinking. And yeah, this looks like a good setup. So I got into another long, and it went up, and I made another $325. Now I've gotten over $49,000. So now I've made over $500 this morning. And look at this. Either one of these I would be very happy with. I've bracketed it pretty tight here. And, hang on a second, I went the wrong way. No, I didn't. Okay, so it dropped down. What did I do here? Dolly. Okay. I can't remember what happened here, but I got out of this trade, and then it looks like what happened here. I seem to have gotten into another long, but I have the stop put up where it's going to be break even, and I think it was. I just thought this was kind of an interesting bit of news here. I don't think it really affects anything, but just thought it was interesting. Okay, and we're still looking like a big recovery move. And okay, this is the point where this completely went to my head. I was so tickled with my trading this day that I kept trading. And this is the point, 10:30, I should have stopped. I don't know what I was thinking. Should have just stopped right then and there, because I don't think I could have been better than that. And the MACD is starting to maybe lose that upward momentum at this point. We're sitting at a resistance level. I don't know what I was thinking. Yeah, this is a bad trade. And look at the dollar amounts I'm looking at. Clearly, I am not thinking clearly here. This is bad. And of course I got stopped out. So now I'm back down to 855. But I've held in my hand the $500 amount. And I can't give that up. I want to get back. I want to get it back so bad that I'm starting to make bad decisions at this point. Even if I'd stopped here, that would have been a fabulous day. All right, making another long with a $337 loss. This is the 5-minute chart. Okay, I don't know that I waited to get in. I think I canceled everything there. I don't think I actually, no, did I? Look at the dollar amount there. I did. I got into a buy. Oh. And then as it started to turn and drop, I started to freak out, and I just canceled it all. And I flattened it. And now I'm down to 651. Oh, it was so bad. And now it's starting to drop. And I lost a little bit more. I lost a lot more, actually. I thought, I think it's going to go up. And I think I got into a long, and it stopped me out with this wick. So I lost another 400. So clearly it went straight to my head, and I got very greedy, and I started placing very overly bold trades when I had been trading already for all morning long, and I should have just stopped. That's pretty obvious. This was not a good trade. So now I'm down to 247. So I'm actually $200 less than I began instead of $500 more. So that's bad, really bad. Okay, so I went to the MES at this point because it's like, well, I only have a $250 buffer. This is getting dangerously low again. This is what I've been fighting to get out of the entire month, and now I've just blown it again. So now I'm mad at myself. All right, I think it's going up. I've got 5 contracts of the MES, and we've got a $56 stop loss in place, which is way too tight, obviously, because the likelihood of that getting stopped out is not good. We're losing momentum on the MACD. I don't know that it's going to go up that much more. This is not a good trade, not a good place. Okay, and clearly I either got stopped out or changed it. Yeah, I had lost the money on that one. And so I changed again, went down to 1 contract, and thought, okay, I just need to, at this point I've lost the ability to get back up to where I was because the time has gone, and so the market is slowed down so much. It's just not a good time to trade anymore, and so the likelihood of me ever getting that back again this day is not good. It's practically nil. So at this point, I just want to end with a good call, with a good trade. All right, so I'm in a short here. I think it's looking like it's going to be dropping. And this is the 30-minute chart here. So this is like, look at those wicks. That's really interesting. It was very volatile this morning. Okay, so now I've lost, I've gained because it's dropped. Gained $40, so this trade is actually working out pretty good, except that I'm thinking that it might drop all the way down to here instead of up to here. So I'm expecting huge dollar amounts here, which is probably not going to happen. All right, starting to head up, so I locked in my profit with a stop, and you can see the jumps here. Look at the difference between where the price action actually is and where the orders actually are. There's a huge difference. There's a huge amount of volatility right now. Oop, I think I skipped one. I believe it went up and stopped me out there. I made just a little tiny bit, I believe. Let me go back and look. Yeah, I made a little tiny bit. So that was encouraging. I'm just trying to build up the encouragement level, not necessarily even the dollar amount at this point. Okay, starting to drop, and I think I made a trade that was break even. And now I'm in 2 contracts because I got $200 buffer, 2 to sell, to go short, and this is all looking pretty good. It's a little bit extreme. It should maybe be up a little bit higher. It's looking like it's going to be dropping, and then I think I locked in and got break even again. Okay. And I actually made $50 at some point here. I don't know how I did that. Yep. No, $30. I made $30. I think it must have been on this, and I didn't quite capture this screenshot. At this point, I just kind of stopped grabbing screenshots. It was just kind of depressing. All right. 3 to sell if it jumps up there. I'm trying to like inch my way up here. To try to get back as much of that loss as possible, at least get back to where I started from. Okay, so I actually got stopped out on that one. It went the wrong way, and I got stopped out because I'd forgotten I still had that $400. I think I upped it to $400. No, $300. Where I'd get manually stopped out. So it stopped me out here. So you can see, here's all my trades, and there was a ton of them. I didn't even count them. The biggest loss was 400, and it came after 2 other losses here. And my biggest gain was 325. And that's the one where I should have just stopped, I think. And that was at 10:28, even 10:30. Yep, and then it started to go downhill. So you can see I did good trading. It was conservative. I had one more really good trade right up here. And this was interesting too. My losing trades were actually more frequent than my winning trades. But that was only, it didn't look like that until this last bit through here. That changed it, because up to that point, I believe I had more winning trades than losing trades. And you can see the dollar amounts that I've dealt with. The total loss is $2,200 and the total profit is almost $2,000. So we've traded a lot of money today, more than normal, way more than normal. And so anyway, yeah, I would say definitely greed got the better of me.